Welcome to the 20-minute deep stretch hip flexors, quads, and hamstrings routine. My name is Sarah Beth, and I highly recommend that you grab a thick mat or even double up your mat for today's practice. Also, 2 blocks and a bolster will get you much further in our class today than not using anything at all. So if you don't have these props, then just grab 2 thick, sturdy books and a cushion off your couch or bed. Pause here if you need to grab your things. Let's begin in a child's pose. Take your knees as wide as comfortable. Walk your hands forward as you relax your forehead and your chest down onto the mat. Slowly rise into a tabletop, and then curl your toes under and make your way into a downward facing dog. Feel free to add any and all movement that works for you to help you open up your legs, hips, and chest. Then settle into this pose with a micro bend in both knees. So very small bend in both knees. Tilt your tailbone up towards the ceiling and press your chest towards your thighs. Gently reach your right leg up. Extend through your heel so that your hips stay square the whole time. Then use the strength of your core to step your right foot through to a low lunge at the top of your mat. Place your right ankle directly underneath your right knee. Then lower your hips down to the mat and sink into your hips while you stay broad through your shoulders for just 3 smooth breaths. And to take it a little bit deeper, take both hands on top of your front knee, lifting a little bit higher through your chest for a variation of crescent moon. Now notice how if there's no engagement in your legs, you just sink into this posture and it can kind of strain a little bit, so make sure that's not happening. Engage your legs as if you were trying to draw your front ankle and your back knee towards each other. Engage your lower abs just enough so you can lift out of your hips. This is how you will eventually, over time, go deeper into the pose. So hold that engagement for 3 more breaths. Now lower your hands down to the mat. With your back knee down, shift your hips back for a variation of Hanumanasana prep. So lower your hips all the way down onto your back heel. I find that placing a prop like a block underneath my right hip or even just a folded blanket can be very helpful in keeping the hips square, which is essential in a posture like this. Now, lift and lengthen from your lower back. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, hinge from your hips as you walk your hands forward a couple more inches. Continue to move deeper with each breath, inhaling to lengthen your spine out of your hips, exhaling to hinge and fold even deeper. For 5 more breaths. This is not about stretching or straining. This is about relaxing and releasing. One more big breath in. Big breath out. Slowly walk your hands up and make your way forward into a runner's lunge. Bending your right knee, toe heel your right foot towards the right side of your mat as you take both hands inside of your right ankle. With your back knee lowered down to the mat, sink into your hips and take 3 deep breaths here, relaxing and releasing tension from your hips, hamstrings, and all around your pelvis. If you're feeling flexible today, try lowering your forearms down onto props or even down onto the mat. Most important is that your hips are still even towards the front of your mat, so you're not sticking your hips out behind you or opening your hips out towards the side. Wherever you are, curl your back toes under and lift your back knee up off the mat, lengthening and straightening out your back leg as much as you can, drive through your heel. And then slowly lower your back knee down onto the mat once more, relaxing into your hips. Now alternate lifting and lowering your back leg for just 1 more minute, finding the pace that serves you. Three, 2, 1. Lower your back knee down to the mat. Come back up to your hands, and with your left hand planted down either on fingertips, on your block, or palm down on the mat, reach your right hand back to grab onto your back ankle for a deep quad opener. You're always welcome to lasso your foot in with your strap, or even if you're just reaching for your foot and there's no contact made, you're still benefiting from this posture. So find the variation that serves you. Breathe and give just a gentle pull as you soften your hips for 3 more breaths. And gently release. Take your time as you make your way back to downward facing dog. Then pedal out your legs. Notice any difference in sensation between your right and left sides. And when you're ready, extend your left leg high. Keep your hips squared off as much as you can as you reach through your left heel. Using your core, gracefully step your left foot all the way through to a low lunge. Adjust until your left knee is above your left ankle. Lower your back knee down to the mat, and using your hands to support you, stay broad through your shoulders. Take 3 smooth, slow breaths as you sink into your hips. Taking this just a little bit further, place both hands on top of your left knee, lifting your chest up so you can be tall in this variation of crescent moon. Engage your legs as if you were scissoring your front ankle and your back knee towards each other. Engage your lower abs just slightly to help you lift out of your hips, lengthening your lower back. A few deep breaths here. Slowly release both hands back down to the mat. Begin to shift your hips back as you straighten out your left leg for our variation of Hanumanasana prep. If you used a prop on the other side, make sure you do so here, or if you need a prop on this side, make sure you do so here, placing that prop underneath your left hip so that your hips can stay even, your lower back can stay long. So find the variation that serves you. Flex your left toes back towards you, little micro bend in your left knee. Take a big inhale to lift out of your hips and lengthen your spine. And exhale to slowly hinge from your hips, folding over your left leg. No matter how far you go, inhale, continue to lengthen. Exhale, continue to fold. For a few more smooth, rhythmic breaths. Make sure you're not crunching through your shoulders. Allow them to relax. Your shoulder blades can roll open. For one more long inhale through your nose. Long exhale through your nose. And slowly rise. Walk your hands forward as you bend your left knee, making your way into runner's lunge. Toe heel your left foot open towards the side of your mat. Both hands inside of your left ankle. Lower your back knee down to the mat. And take a few deep breaths here just to sink into your hips. Now curl your toes under behind you and lift your right knee off the mat. Extend through your right heel as you straighten out your whole right leg, lifting the back of your right knee up towards the ceiling. Big inhale. Then exhale to lower your right knee back down to the mat and slowly sink into your hips. Take the next minute to lift and lower your back knee, finding the pace that serves you. 3, 2, 1. Lower your back knee down to the mat. With your right hand planted down, reach your left arm back to grab onto your left ankle for your quad opener. There's so much happening in a posture like this, so allow yourself to relax. Sink into your hips and only pull just enough where you're still playing within your edge. The edge is that place where there's a lot of intensity, but you can still breathe, smooth and deep. You're still very present within the pose. If you go past the edge, it's like falling off a cliff, and you lose control of your breath. Your mind starts bouncing all over the place, and your body tenses up defensively. So find your edge and then stay within, not only in this posture, but in all the postures to come. Gently release your back ankle and make your way back to downward facing dog. From here, lower down onto your knees, and then come to stand on your knees, setting up for a camel pose. We're going to ease into this pose today, so if you have blocks, go ahead and grab them and place them outside of your ankles. Otherwise, you can keep your hands on your hips the whole time. Curl your toes under behind you. This will give you more control over your hips in this back bend. Take your hands to your lower back like you're about to slide your fingers into your back pockets, but it's okay for your wrists if you want to curl your fingers around your sides. That's okay too. Now scoop your tailbone under and forward, lengthening out your lower back, and you want to keep your hips pushing forward the entire time, not leaning back. So from here, inhale to lift up through your heart. And as you exhale, slowly roll your shoulders back into just a little bit of a back bend. But again, focus more on the sensation of the opening in your quads and hip flexors. So no need to go very far here. Just go until you feel that opening and then hold and breathe. And if you're using blocks outside of your ankles, very mindfully reach one hand back at a time to grab onto that block for support. You're not resting your weight into those blocks. Instead, you're focusing on lifting through your heart and pushing your hips forward. And hold wherever you are for a few more smooth breaths. If your hands are on your blocks, one at a time, place your hands back on your hips. Very slowly, come out of your back bend and take a seat on your heels. Hands in your lap, eyes gently closed. Use your breath to calm your body and mind. It's completely normal for a lot of sensation to come up in camel pose. You're essentially exposing all of your vital organs, causing you to feel a little bit vulnerable, maybe even nauseous or dizzy. Totally normal. This is your reset. Find your breath.